Hi students, how are you all? I believe you are all keeping well. Well students, in today's session we are going to begin our unit 6, which is titled as Nation and Diversity. Nation and Diversity. Before we get into the actual part of our lesson, let's look at the picture. What does the picture signify? The picture shows two persons of different religions showing zeal to play together. The unified thought for a common purpose represents the country's integrity and unity. That's what we say India, unity in diversity. For ages, people in India have been living with the feelings of fraternity and integrity. Historically, India has been a land with people of many religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity, etc. Still, all Indians show brotherhood. India is a land of different races, tribes, castes, languages, customs, and traditions. But there is oneness in all these things. Our country is a land of great physical and socio-cultural contrasts marked by unity in diversity. Well students, do you experience the theme reflected in the picture in your life? If not, what may be the possible reasons for this? Yes, we experience the theme of unity in our real life, but sometimes the unity disappears in certain situations. The reason for this can be orthodox feelings of certain people, superstitious and narrow-minded attitude of the people with the rigid thoughts. While some people strive continuously to keep the nation's strength with very similitude, there are others who try to split the nation's strength with the blind beliefs and shake the foundation. Well students, our reading A is titled as My Childhood, and please understand it is an extract from the book Wings of Fire written by APJ Abdul Kalam. It is an extract taken from the book Wings of Fire written by APJ Abdul Kalam. APJ Abdul Kalam was born on 15th October 1931 at Rameswaram in Tamil Nadu. He was responsible for the evolution of ISRO's launch vehicle program, particularly the PSLV configuration, and for the development and operationalization of Agni and Prithvi missiles, and for building indigenous capability in critical technologies through networking of multiple institutions. In his literary pursuit, four of Dr. Kalam's books, Wings of Fire, India 2020, A Vision for the New Millennium, My Journey, and Ignited Minds, Unleashing the Power Within India, have become household names in India and among the Indian nationals abroad. Dr. Kalam received honorary doctorates from 30 universities and institutions. He was awarded the coveted civilian award Padma Bhushan 1981 and Padma Vibhushan 1990 and the highest civilian award Bharat Ratna 1997. Dr. Kalam became the 11th President of India on 25th July 2002. So APJ Abdul Kalam was, he was an educationist, author, writer, poet, scientist, and he was the 11th President of India, and moreover, he was a good human being. Now, let's get into the actual part of our lesson, Reading A, which is titled as My Childhood. Reading A, my childhood, and please understand it is an extract from the Wings of Fire book written by APJ Abdul Kalam. I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. My father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these advantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashiamma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. Now, who is referring here? Here I refers to Abdul Kalam, and he was born in a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. Now, erstwhile is former. So, Abdul Kalam was born in a middle class family, Rameshwaram, which is in Tamil Nadu. Clear? Now, my father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. So, who is Jainul Abdin? He is a father of Abdul Kalam. He had neither formal education, he did not go to any university, he did not have much of higher education, and he did not have much of wealth. So, despite of these disadvantages, now these disadvantages are referring to his wealth and education. He did not have much of education and wealth. In spite of this, but he possessed. Now, possessed is owing or having. Possess is own. He owns great innate wisdom. Now, what is meant by innate wisdom? Inborn or natural. Even though he did not go to universities, but he possessed the wisdom and true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate. Helpmate is a helpful companion or partner in his wife Ashiamma. In his wife Ashiamma, he found that she would always stand by him. She would always stand by him. And Abdul Kalam says he does not even recall exactly or exact number of people his mother fed. Do you understand? Simple. In this first paragraph, Abdul Kalam speaks about his father and mother. Basically, he comes from a middle class family, Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. His father, Jainul Abdin, even though he did not have much of formal education, but he possessed innate wisdom and generosity. Even though he was not having much of wealth, but he was generous enough to share whatever he had with the people. And his mother, Ashiamma, she was an ideal helpmate for her husband, Jainul Abdin. Ashiamma is the mother of APJ Abdul Kalam. She was a very generous woman, and she was a kind woman that she would feed the people whoever came to her house. I was one of the children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. So Abdul Kalam, even though his parents were handsome and smart and beautiful, but he was born as a short boy with undistinguished looks. Now, what do you understand by the word undistinguished? Not very interesting. Even though his parents were very handsome and beautiful, but he was not looking that smart, he says. And they lived in their ancestral house, which was built during 19th century, in the middle of the 19th century, and that was a Pakka house which was built with a limestone and bricks. Now please understand, ancestral is of a great grandparents or forefathers. Okay, so They lived in an ancestral house which was built during, in the middle of the 19th century, and that was a Pakka house which was on the Mosque Street in Rameshwara. Do you understand? My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Now, this paragraph speaks about Abdul Kalam's father. His father was very simple. Austere is, simple and plain. His father was a very simple man and he would avoid all inessentials. Now, what is meant by inessentials? It's, not necessary. He would avoid comforts and luxuries. But however, Abdul Kalam was provided in terms of food, medicine, and clothes. So Abdul Kalam says that he enjoyed his childhood because he was provided everything that was in need. He was provided both materially and emotionally. All his needs were met. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. It was the time of Second World War. It was in 1939 when Abdul Kalam was just 8 years old. Please understand here I is referring to Abdul Kalam. So it was in 1939 when Abdul Kalam was 8 years old. It was a time of Second World War, and he says that he has never understood, or he would never understand why there was a sudden eruption of a demand for the tamarind seeds. Now, erupted is raised suddenly. Erupted is raised suddenly. So Abdul Kalam says he never understood why there was a sudden demand for tamarind seeds, but he used to collect these tamarind seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street, and a day's collection would fetch him. Now fetch is achieve when sold. So when he sold those seeds, would fetch him, give him the princely sum of 1 anna. Now princely is not very large. It's maybe very little amount of money. So it is actually 1 anna. Do you understand? Please understand. 1939, it was a time of a Second World War, and when Abdul Kalam was 8 years old, and he did not understand why there was a sudden eruption of demand for tamarind seeds, but he would collect the tamarind seeds and sell those seeds in the provision shop, and it would fetch him a day's princely sum of 1 anna. That's it. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. So Jalaluddin is a brother-in-law of Abdul Kalam. So Jalaluddin would narrate or tell the stories about the war, and later Abdul Kalam used to find those headlines in the newspaper named Dinamani. Since their area was isolated, separated, or it was a lonely area, it was not completely, or it was not affected by the war. Clear? Attempt is try. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. So it was a time India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. Now what is meant by a state of emergency, a sudden, serious, and dangerous event or situation. Now, please understand, it is like state emergency is like a situation of national danger or disaster in which a government suspends normal constitutional procedures in order to regain control. Do you understand? So a state emergency was declared. Declared is openly or formally asserted or announced. It was announced. State of emergency was announced. The first casualty came in the form of suspension of train halt at Rameshwaram station. Now the meaning of casualty is accident or sudden happening. Sudden happening. So the first sudden happening that came in the form of suspension of the train halt. Suspension is temporary halt or hang up. So at the Rameshwaram station the trains were halted. So the newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the slot. Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. Now, what is referring here? That forced, it is referring to the throwing of bundles of newspapers from the train. Now, Samsuddin, the cousin of Abdul Kalam, used to distribute newspapers in Rameshwaram. So, when these bundles of newspapers were thrown from the train, moving train, he had to find a helper who would help him out. So he was looking for a helping hand, and finally he found Abdul Kalam. So Abdul Kalam helped Samsuddin to collect bundles of newspapers, and even Samsuddin helped Abdul Kalam to earn his first wages by selling the newspapers. That's why we see Abdul Kalam, he says that half a century later, he can still feel the surge of pride. Now, the meaning of surge is, a sudden increase of strong feeling. A strong feeling of pride in earning his own money for the first time. So, he earned his, money for the first time by selling the newspapers. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sister. Now, what do you understand by the word inherited? Derived genetically from one's parents or ancestors, or received from parents. As every child is born into the world, inherits, receives certain values from his or her parents. So, as Abdul Kalam also received from his father honesty and self-discipline, and he inherited goodness and deep sense of kindness from his mother as well as his brothers and sisters too. I had three close friends in my childhood: Ramanatha Sastry, Aravindan and Shivaprakashan. All these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As a children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramanatha Sastry was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Sastry, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. So Abdul Kalam had three friends in his childhood. They were Ramanatha Sastry, Aravindan and Shivaprakashan, and all these three boys were actually from an orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. Now what is meant by orthodox? following closely the traditional beliefs and practices of religion. They were very, very traditional. These three boys were from Brahmin families. Even though the children were of, Abdul Kalam was actually a Muslim, and these three boys were actually from Orthodox Brahmin families, but they never felt any difference among themselves because of their religion or practices. And Ramanatha Sastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Sastri, and this Pakshi Lakshmana Sastri was a high priest of the Rameshwaram temple who offers prayers in Rameshwaram temple. Later he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So after his father, Pakshi Lakshmana Sastri, Ramanatha Sastri, who is a best friend of Abdul Kalam, became the high priest in the temple. So after his father, it was Ramanatha Sastri who became a priest to offer prayers at the temple of Rameshwaram. Now, what do you understand by a priest? A priest is a religious leader authorized to perform the sacred rituals of religion, especially as a mediator agent between humans and one or more deities. Okay, he is a mediator between God and us, and he is the one who offers prayers at the temple. Now, what do you understand by priesthood? The job or the position of being a priest. So, Pakshi Lakshmana Sastri, after him, his son Ramanatha Sastri became the priest in the temple to offer prayers. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims. Okay, pilgrim is a person who visits pilgrimage or holy places. A person who travels to holy places is considered to be a pilgrim. So the second friend Aravindan, he got into the business of arranging transport for the pilgrims. And the third friend Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So these were the three best close friends of Abdul Kalam. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord Rama and Sita from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. What do you understand by this ceremony? It's a formal religious or public occasion, especially one celebrating a particular event, achievement or anniversary. And here, during annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, at the time of Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, Abdul Kalam's family would arrange boats with a special platform, special stage to carry the idols of Lord Rama and Sita from the temple to the marriage site, which is situated in the middle of the pond, which is called Ramatirtha. So there is a particular place in the middle of the temple where the marriage takes place. Okay, that place is called as Ramatirtha. So the boats were arranged to carry the idols of Lord Rama and Sita to carry from the temple to the marriage site, which is situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha. And events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophets were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our families. So his mother and grandmother would narrate the stories from Ramayana. Okay. Now what do you understand by the word prophet? Prophet is Muhammad, who founded the religion of Islam. Right. Now here His mother and grandmother would tell the stories from Ramayanam and about the Prophet Muhammad stories to the children as bedtime stories. One day, when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramanatha Sastri, who wore the sacred thread. One day, what happened? When he was in 5th standard at Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to his class, and Abdul Kalam used to wear a cap which marked him as a Muslim, and he would always sit in the front row beside Ramanatha Sastri, and Ramanatha Sastri used to wear a sacred thread. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramanatha Sastri. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. So when the new teacher came to the class and when she found an orthodox Brahmin boy sitting next to Muslim, he could not stomach. Now what is meant by could not stomach? Unable to tolerate someone or something. She could not tolerate a Brahmin boy sitting next to a Muslim boy. And according to the social ranking, the new teacher saw it was like awkward, and so she asked Abdul Kalam to go back and sit on the last row. And Abdul Kalam felt very sad, and even Ramanatha Sastri felt very sad. Ramanatha Sastri felt utterly downcast. He was completely sad or depressed when Abdul Kalam shifted to the last row. So Abdul Kalam says, the image of him, the image of Ramanatha Sastri weeping, crying, when he shifted to the last row, left a lasting impression on him. Impression is, an idea or feeling. Lasting is enduring or able to endure over a long period of time, something which cannot be forgotten. So Abdul Kalam says that he can never forget his friend Ramanatha Sastri weeping when Abdul Kalam shifted to the last row. After the school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Sastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. So as soon as the children went home, Abdul Kalam and Ramanatha Sastri, they went home and narrated what happened in the class to their respective parents. They narrated the incident that took place in their class. So Lakshmana Sastri, he summoned the teacher. Now the meaning of summoned is, to order somebody or to come to you. Okay, so Lakshmana Sastri called the teacher in the presence of the children and told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance. Now what is meant by communal? Between different communities or especially those having different religions or ethnic origins. Now you see Abdul Kalam is of a Muslim religion and Ramanatha Sastri of Brahmin religion or Hinduism. So Pakshi Lakshmana Sastri says not to spread this social inequality or communal intolerance in the minds of the innocent children. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So Lakshmana Sastri bluntly he asked the teacher to either to apologize, ask sorry to the children, or to quit the school and the island or the place. Now bluntly, the meaning of bluntly is you speak without trying to be polite, considering other people's feelings. Okay, without even thinking, Lakshmana Sastri, he bluntly says to the teacher, either you ask sorry or quit the school and the island. So the teacher not only regretted for his behavior, but also the strong sense of conviction. Conviction is a strong belief or opinion. So the teacher not only regretted for his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So finally, the teacher, was reformed with the convictions of Ramanatha Sastri. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher Shivasubramaniam Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. The society in which Abdul Kalam lives is a society of Rameshwaram was very rigid. Rigid is not flexible in terms of the segregation of different social groups. Segregation is the act of separating people. But however, his science teacher, what is his name? Siva Subramanya Iyer. Even though he was an orthodox Brahmin, but he was against this social inequalities, and his wife was very very conservative. Conservative is opposed to great sudden social change. Here his wife was not that like a rigid person, but Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was always trying to break the barriers that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He was trying to break the barriers so that people can mingle from different religions, different cultures and regions. He used to ask with me and would say, Kalam, I wanted to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So who is referring here? It is Abdul Kalam's science teacher Shiva Subramaniam Iyer. He would sit with Abdul Kalam and he would encourage him that he is on par with highly educated people of the big cities. Now what is meant by on par? At the same level or standard as. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. It's very clear, right? So one day his science teacher Siva Subramaniam Iyer invited Abdul Kalam for a meal to his house, and his wife was horrified. She was greatly feared at the idea of Muslim boy coming to her house to dine, to have his meal in her ritually pure kitchen. Ritually is following religious methods and customs. She couldn't stomach a Muslim boy coming to her house and entering into the ritually cleaned kitchen to have the meal. So she did not serve Abdul Kalam. She refused to serve him in the kitchen. But Shiva Subramaniam Iyer, he was not perturbed. Now perturbed is disturbed mentally. He was not disturbed. He did not get angry with her. But instead what he did, he served him with his own hands, sat beside Abdul Kalam and had his meal along with him. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Shivasubramaniam Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told not to get upset, saying, "Once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted." When I visited his house the next week, Shivasubramaniam Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me the food with her own hands. So when Abdul Kalam goes to his science teacher Shivasubramaniam Iyer's house, and both of them sit to have their meal, and his wife refused to serve Abdul Kalam, right? So Shivasubramaniam Iyer himself serves Abdul Kalam, and both of them had their meal. And where is his wife? His wife was watching behind the kitchen door, the way Abdul Kalam was having his meal, the way he was eating his rice, drinking water, and the way he cleaned the floor after the meal. And when Abdul Kalam was leaving the house, and Shivasubramaniam Iyer invited him again the next weekend for the meal, and Abdul Kalam was hesitant. He was not that happy to come because it was like an insult, because when he asked his wife to serve him, she did not. She refused to serve, and Abdul Kalam was, felt sad, and a little bit, he was sad about it. So when the science teacher once again he invited him for the meal, he was hesitant, and then his science teacher says, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Confronted is, to deal with a problem or situation. So once we start, working on things to change, we have to face, we have to take all the problems and insults. So his science teacher says not to worry and not to get upset. So when Abdul Kalam goes for the second time to have his meal in his science teacher's house, Shivasubramaniam Iyer's house, the second time his wife herself comes and takes Abdul Kalam to the kitchen, and she served him with her own hands. Do you understand? Is it clear? Fine. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. So it was a time when the Second World War was over, and Gandhiji declared, he openly announced that Indians will build their own India, and the whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. Unprecedented is never known before. Optimism is a feeling that good things will happen. So India was expecting that the good things will happen. Okay, now Abdul Kalam asked his father's permission to leave Rameshwaram to go to the headquarters for the higher studies. Do you understand? He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does a seagull not fly across the sun and alone without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you but not from you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So when Abdul Kalam asks his father's permission to send him for higher studies to the headquarters, his father says that he has to go a long way to grow, and he takes the example of seagull who flies across the sun alone and without a nest. A seagull is a bird. And he quotes the words of Khalil Gibran to his hesitant mother, Ashiyama. Now, what does it mean? These words were spoken by Kalam's father, Jainul Abdin, in the context of his wife's hesitation to send Kalam to Ramanathapuram. He told his wife the expression, "Your children are not your children," means the children are growing, they have their own ideas. We agree with the idea of Kalam's father because the children have every right to form their own thoughts and ideas. The environment in society helps children to develop an individual attitude. Parents should take it easy. Well, students, I believe you have understood today's session. See you in the next session.